Today we are going to learn how AI will transform e-commerce personalization. My take is that the best way to use AI to personalize the e-commerce experience is to start with a clean data foundation and a few high-value journeys. Then we can think of layering in AI as a disciplined decision engine across key touchpoints. But there must be clear governance, guardrails for trust, measurements, and ethics. And this is very, very critical. Most e-commerce leaders I speak with are drowning in AI pitches. They've heard it all. Hyper-personalization, one-to-one journeys, Netflix-style recommendations, you name it, they've seen it, they've seen demos, they've received the emails. But when I talk to them and we look under the hood, the reality is usually much simpler. The data is messy, it's scattered everywhere. The tools are underused, and the customer experience, in fact, still feels generic. In this video, I'm going to show you a practical way to use AI to personalize your e-commerce experience without burning out your team or your marketing budget. We are going to focus on a few high-value journeys. We're going to look at a simple stack that you can remember, and we will definitely put into considerations governance and guardrails that will keep you out of trouble. Let's take a pause for a second. Why does personalization matter now? Personalization isn't just a shiny object anymore. It is a growth lever. Studies show that personalization typically drives about 5 to 15% revenue lift and can make your marketing team 10 to 30% more efficient. The highest growth companies are already seeing up to 40% lift in revenue they generate from personalized experiences. On top of that, the personalization tech marketplace is growing around 25% a year, and analysts expect that AI shopping agents will add over $100 billion to the US e-commerce by 2030. If you're running an online store today, personalization is no longer nice to have. It is a critical part of staying competitive and playing in the e-commerce game. Here is the twist. Most leaders are convinced they are behind on personalization. But when you talk to them, the blockers within their organizations are rather surprisingly consistent. The data is messy, the data is scattered across multiple platforms. Tracking mechanisms are incomplete. There's a new AI vendor in their inbox every week promising magic. And if you're honest, most of them will be thinking, we don't even have great product pages or explainer videos. Is AI personalization appropriate? Is that really our next move? And then you have the softer side, those who worry about creeping people out with AI personalizations or even crossing regulatory lines. And this sounds familiar to everybody I talk to, and I'm sure it sounds familiar to you as well. You're not alone. The problem really isn't the lack of AI. The problem is the lack of a grounded approach, a grounded methodology to implementing AI personalization. With an understanding of the problem, here is where I usually start with my clients. First, we have to look at the data. If your data and consent management processes are not in order, AI will just amplify the confusion. So the first step is very, very critical. We have to make sure that you can reliably answer 3 questions for each of your website or your web app visitor. The first question is, what did they do? The second question is, what do we know about them? And the third question is, what have they agreed to? This is where consent management comes in. That means we need to be able to track key events like views, scroll depth, dwell time, searches, add to cart, purchases. It also means consolidating all that data in a simple customer profile that resides within a single system. And most importantly, it means respecting consent and preferences by design, not an afterthought. When this foundation is in place, every personalization idea becomes easy to execute and justify. Once you trust your data, don't try to personalize everything. Focus on, say, 3 core journeys that drive the most revenue for your organization. So for example, let's take for a first instance, product discovery. From the homepage to the category pages, to the search result pages, to the product detailed pages. AI can help surface the right items in the right order for the right person. Number 2 is the conversion moment. This is normally the shopping cart view or the checkout process. This is where you want smarter cross and upsells to increase your average order value. And also you want to provide reassurance around shipping and returns and back that up with the right social proof. Number 3 is around retention. This is the reason that the customer will come back over and over to buy from you. So I'm talking about your triggered emails or SMS whereby you are giving them personalized offers, and also the kind of content you surface up to help them use the product that they have purchased. If you only apply these 3 basic journeys, you will be ahead of most of your competitors. And if you watch all my videos, I like to make things practical and concrete. So let's make this thinking practical. We have to look at 3 layers here. One is signals, the second one is brain, and the third one is surfaces. Signals are what you know about the customer. What product they browsed, what they bought, where they came from, the device they are using to access your site, and if possible, their likely preferences. The brain is the decision layer. This is your recommendation engine. This is your predictive models or your generative AI that can write tailored copy or product bundles on the fly. Now we get into surfaces. Surfaces are where your customers actually experience personalization. So we're talking about modules on your homepage, the category grid, the product recommendations, the email you send, your chatbots, the interactions they have with the chatbot, or even external AI agents. With these 3 signals in mind, any personalization you consider should answer 3 important questions. Which signals are we using? Which brain is deciding what to show? And finally, on which surface will the customer see and experience it? If you can't answer any of these questions right now, then maybe AI personalization is not a real use case scenario for your organization. So let's take a look at the process of implementation. I highly recommend you take the crawl, walk, run approach. Personalization works best when you treat it like a fitness program and not a one-time bootcamp. So if we look at the crawl, walk, run approach, in the crawl phase, you're making sure basic things like tracking works. You can turn on simple recommendations on your website or web app like recently viewed or what is trending. You can even segment your campaign, your email nurturing campaign, by obvious behavior. Then we get into the walk phase. This is when you start using AI recommendations on key pages, or even when you trigger life cycle activities based on behaviors that the customer showcase on your website. And then you talk about A/B testing. You A/B test AI generated copy against human written messages. Then we have the run phase. This is where you orchestrate journeys across multiple channels. You let Gen AI personalize content at scale, but with clear guardrails. And this is when you begin integrating AI assistants and agents into the customer journey. The point here isn't to jump straight to the run phase. It is to know where you are today and what one level above it looks like. This is why I highly recommend the crawl, walk, run approach. AI personalization can expose you to certain risks. This is why it is crucial that we talk about governance and guardrails. As a business, AI gives you incredible powers. It also gives you new ways to lose trust. Recent investigations found some platforms were using algorithmic pricing tests to charge different customers different prices for the same grocery item in the same store without clear disclosure. That is the kind of story that makes regulators very interested very quickly, and we don't want that for our business. So this is why I recommend that you define a simple set of principles that your company must abide by. For example, You can say, we will not use AI personalization to quietly raise prices on certain individuals. We will not use sensitive attributes. We will prioritize helpfulness over manipulation of users. And finally, number 4, you can put a policy whereby keeping humans in the loop for any offers or content you're putting out there. These are just basic examples, by the way. By all means, you need to consult with your legal and brand team for the appropriate governance policy and guardrails that you should put in place. I assure you that doing this protects your brand, your customers, and frankly, the future roadmap for AI at your organization. Looking ahead, there's one more shift you should plan for, and I think you've heard about agentic agents. So there is the concept of agentic AI shopping. And now we are talking about a world whereby the customer journey doesn't start on your website or start on Google or any search engine. Your customers will simply ask an AI assistant, find me the best product for X with Y constraints within these budgets. These agents will then go out into the vast space of the internet and compare options, read reviews, check policies, and recommend what the customer should buy. In fact, in most instances, these agents can actually order the product on behalf of the customers. Right now, e-commerce platforms like Shopify are already responding with agentic storefront solutions that enable their clients to manage how their store appears inside these AI tools and also help them track AI-referred traffic. So if you want to be recommended in this new agentic AI world, you need to make sure that your product is properly structured. I'm talking about your product data. You have to make sure that your policies are clear. You have to make sure you're using rich content snippets and that above all, you consistently treat your customers well so that they will leave those good reviews that the AI agents will consume. The agents will simply amplify whatever you already are. So put in the effort so that you can get the best out of these agents. I know we've covered a lot, but I want to make this as practical as possible so you can lock it in. Let's take a look at a basic action plan that you can implement within your organization in the next, say, 30 to 90 days, depending on how aggressive you want to move. The first step is to audit your data as well as your consent management processes. Can you clearly see key events and preferences in one place? It's important to be able to identify this. The second is to map out any 3 customer journeys. So for example, it could be product discovery, it could be the purchase decision that the customer has to make, and it could be the process a customer goes through to return products. Pick 1 or 2 concrete use cases for each of these journeys. Then third, look at your existing MarTech tools that you're already paying for. So for example, your e-commerce platform like Shopify or your email platform like HubSpot or your analytics. All of them likely have some personalization features that you're underusing. Look at them and consider to start using these features. Then you have to design simple experiments. Turn on one AI recommendation block on any of this platform. It could be a behavior-based campaign. Whatever it is, your goal here is that you want to measure the lift in conversions or your average order value to see the impact. Fifth is to make sure you assign owners and set a cadence. Personalization becomes powerful when someone actually reviews the data, refines the rules, and communicates the wins to the rest of the team. Following this action plan I've just outlined will get you started on a process to start experiencing the benefits of personalization for your e-commerce business. If everything I've covered in this video was helpful, here is how we can keep building together. First, please hit subscribe, follow my content, follow my channels so you don't miss the next video. Second, if you want the frameworks and checklists that I use when I work with my clients, visit my website, anthonyobioher.com, and on there you can subscribe to my newsletters to have access to these checklists and frameworks. I normally share practical playbooks for using AI, MarTech, e-commerce, and customer experience modernization in a way that actually moves your revenue. If you're a business and marketing leader who wants a more personalized roadmap for your brand, feel free to reach out so that we can work together, look at your data foundations, look at your existing journeys, and see where AI can realistically deliver value to your business in the next 6 to 12 months. Thank you for watching, And please remember, AI doesn't make a bad experience better. It makes a good experience scale. So the effort should be put into building good experiences for your customers and let AI amplify them. Thank you for your time.